Hey, thanks for joining me today. Today, I got a topic that we all know too well. That is the fear of finding out. Or if you want a silly sounding acronym, FOFO. It's the sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach where you know there's a problem, but you're too afraid to confront it. It's like one of those friends who always tells you they'll pay you back, but you know they never will. FOFO is the reason we avoid going to the doctor, checking our bank account balance. It's the reason we don't ask for feedback or have difficult conversations with our loved ones. It's the reason why we let ourselves fall behind in industries and refuse to adapt. But guess what, FOFO? It's not some mysterious force that's controlling us like puppets. It's a choice. That's right, you heard me. It's like choosing between getting a salad or a burger at a restaurant. We decide whether we face our fears head on or hide them or hide from them like they're a boogeyman under the bed. Look, if we want to kick FOFO to the curb, we need to tap into our emotional intelligence. You know, that thing that separates us from animals and makes us human? Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage our emotions. It's what separates us from the animals, makes us human, allows us to have empathy, communicate effectively, to make rational decisions. It's what we need to combat FOFO. So my advice on this, don't be afraid to find out. Don't let the fear control you. Instead, take control of your thoughts and ask yourself the tough questions. What are the potential consequences if I continue to ignore the problem? How will I feel about it in the long run? And is it worth the risk? Because the truth is, the only thing worse than finding out is not finding out at all. That's the real tragedy. So embrace your emotional intelligence, face your fear, take control of your life. Because if we don't, who will? My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Hey, thanks for joining me. See if we can get this flame going. Obviously, I did not have my pre-show checklist today. One of them is to light the flame. Come on, you can do it. The other pre-show checklist thing I didn't do, normally I write my monologue and then I go back and I try to add jokes to it. I try to add a lot of jokes to it. And as in the middle of reading my monologue today, I realized I was reading an old version. I didn't have the jokes that I added in. Oh, I gotta finish this stuff. I gotta fix this stuff. Oh man. Well, we all have that sometimes, right? Anyway, the fear of finding out. Now, this is different than being willfully ignorant. That's something I talked about a week ago or so. This is, you know that this is something you got to deal with, and you just don't want to deal with it right now. And then right now turns into a week, turns into a month, and then it turns into your life. And it's easy to do. We get stuck in these loops. But finding out about something, especially if it's about ourselves, that's a super, super important thing to do. Yeah, I'm just mad I didn't get my jokes in. Anyway, just to let you know, in the chat, I've been trying to add chat to the live stream. I've been trying to make the YouTube chat bigger, and I have not figured that out yet, so I'm still working on that. I was able to make the Rumble even bigger. The Rumble chat's even bigger than it was yesterday, but the YouTube, I'm still working on that. We'll get to it. But anyway, we got a good show today, and let's see. Why is this not coming in. Interesting. No graphics today? Anyway, let me hit the little thing and we'll get to the story. The first story we're going to talk about is the new mayor of Chicago. So let's get to that. Oh, I'm still here. I'm still here. Let's see. Pre-show checklist. It'll be a thing tomorrow. I swear it will. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about this new mayor of Chicago. You know, I've been having... Well, I'll tell you after the story. Let's get to it. Okay. Here we go. Chicago's mayoral race has been won by progressive Brandon Johnson, Cook County Commissioner and organizer for the Chicago Teachers Union. On a pledge to invest in people to reduce crime and poverty, Johnson defeated former CEO of Chicago Public Schools, Paul Vyas, who was backed by the Fraternal Order of Police, raising nearly twice as much money. Johnson's win marks a significant achievement for the activist left and is likely to have ripple effects across the U.S., especially in the Democratic Party politics. His victory came amid an uptick in crime, economic uncertainty, which strengthened the hand of the moderate wing of the Democratic Party in the past 3 years. So it's interesting with Chicago. You know, my whole life, Chicago has been a scary place. People are killed in Chicago, south side of Chicago, gang members of Chicago. It's been a constant, it seems like, for my entire life. You know, one of the things when Obama was elected, and I was kind of more, personally, I was a little bit more excited. Not that he was a black guy becoming president. I thought that was cool at the time. But I thought, this is great. This is a guy from Chicago who's going to fix Chicago. Now he's got all the resources of the presidency, the full resources of the United States. He can fix Chicago. He can make it safe. He can make it so that there are not murders every single day. In certain parts of town. That's what I was really looking forward to from him. And he was the biggest disappointment in that area. Didn't do jack. Did nothing. Chicago probably became worse while he was president. The violence there just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. It's worse. You know, we talk about a lot of countries where things are bad with gun violence and whatnot. Not as bad as Chicago. I would put Chicago up against, you know, the roughest areas of the world. And it's so we've had Lori Lightfoot, who's been mayor there frickin' forever. She did a terrible job on this. Terrible job running the city of Chicago. So I was like, oh, a new mayor. This is exciting. And I did a little looking into this guy. And I think it's going to get worse. That's my prediction. It really saddens me to see that. But I watched some clips of him from a debate and from some local TV interviews with him, where he would not condemn rioting. He would not condemn looting. They were asking him about looting, like luxury stores and things like that, and he he hemmed and hawed and said, well, these people are hungry and, nonsense. This is more of the same. I feel really bad for the city of Chicago. It appears like it's just going to get even worse. And you did this to yourself, Chicago. It's like, when will people learn that certain things don't work? And excusing criminal behavior and allowing it just encourages more criminal behavior. I've seen that here in Portland. We have a DA who's linked to Soros. True. And he didn't prosecute, pretty much the vast majority of all, the Summer of Love, all the 100 nights of riots. None of those looters got anything. Destroyed, did billions of dollars of damage to the city. Don't need to prosecute them. And so what, everything's about incentives. And it appears to me on first glance that you couldn't pick a worse mayor than the new mayor, Brandon Johnson, in Chicago. And it's really sad news. I don't even like focusing on it. But my prediction is the homicide rate in Chicago will not go down. And perhaps we can start tracking it. But it's not going to go down. Violent crime is not going to go down. Looting is not going to go down. Shoplifting is not going to go down. Everything is going to get worse. And it really saddens me. But it is what it is. I don't live there. But I just feel sorry for anyone that does. Anyway, let's get to a funnier story, shall we? Washington Post lead fact checker Glenn Kessler falsely claimed that Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. were attempting to intimidate the judge in their father's criminal case by tweeting out reports that the judge's daughter had worked on the Biden-Harris campaign. After Trump's arraignment, it was revealed that the judge's daughter was president and partner of Authentic Campaigns, which runs digital campaigns for Democrat candidates. The tweets by Trump's sons included links to news stories that featured Lauren Merchan's photo. Kessler was accused of omitting this context and intentionally lying. CNN's John King also falsely claimed that Trump Jr. tweeted a picture of the judge's daughter as a way to intimidate and attack the judge in his family. So, my graphics aren't working today. So let me tell you what happened. This was really bad. In fact, I want to bring up a story about this particular fact checker, Glenn Kessler, because he talked about a story that I did 2 weeks ago on my Fact Check Friday. So I was going to revisit that on Friday. But he essentially lied on that as well. But what he did, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump had posted a tweet. Like Donald Trump Jr. here says, seems relevant, yet another connection in this hand-picked Democrat show trial. The BS never ends, folks. Daughter of judge of Trump case worked on Biden-Harris campaign, and he tweeted a link to an article, and in that tweet, in that article, it had a picture of her and her dad, the judge in this case. And Eric Trump did the same. Okay, so they're tweeting an article. And what Glenn Kessler did is he went in and he cut out the text of the article, or the text of the tweet, omitted the link to the article, and then put in the picture from the article to make it seem like they were posting a picture of her just at random. Oh, you know, nobody knows this, but here's a picture of the judge and his daughter. They didn't post a picture. They posted an article that had the picture in it. And the lead fact checker at Washington Post cut it up and changed the context of it and tweeted that out. Now, the great thing is that now on Twitter, they have something called community notes or something like that. And it's a way that you can fact check tweets on Twitter. And now people can put in context, oh, he cut this out of the tweet. But that is absolutely disgusting that would happen. And I think in any other industry, when you're caught lying that much, there's consequences, like you lose your job. But apparently, if you lie as a fact checker, you get promoted. You get to be the lead fact checker for the richest man in the world. I don't know. It is what it is. But I will have a link to that article, along with a link to all the articles that I talk about today, in the description of the video after it is done. So let's get to another funny story. At least it's funny to me. Twitter labeled NPR's Twitter account as state-affiliated media, a label using reserved for foreign media outlets, representing the views of the government. However, Twitter's Help Center previously stated that state-financed media organizations with editorial independence like NPR were not considered state-affiliated media. The reference to NPR was later deleted. The move has led to criticism, which some questioning Twitter's definition of state-affiliated media. Twitter CEO Elon Musk has previously expressed interest in Russia's RT and its news coverage. So, if you're not on Twitter, and I know most people aren't using Twitter, but any time that RT, which is Russia Today, that is a Russian news source, along with Al Jazeera and other big foreign news, they will have a label on it underneath it that says that it is, Russian state media. And they will even use this for people that work for them. So anybody that works for RT, they also get a label that they're affiliated with Russian news. And it always struck me as odd that Twitter would do this for foreign news, but it wouldn't do it for U.S. news. They wouldn't let you know that NPR is funded by our government. And so to me, this just seems to show some consistency. Now, I think it would be a bit more honest if we also had NBC as state-affiliated media, and I think it would be pretty easy to make that case. New York Times should be considered U.S. state-affiliated media, just based on the number of times that the State Department has given stories and their propaganda has been pushed by the New York Times. They haven't gone so far as to do that yet, but I think that would make things a little bit more clear for most people. Although, getting back to the main topic today, which was the fear of finding out, a lot of people just don't want to find out that the media is working for the government in many cases. So, but that is interesting and funny that they have labeled NPR now in that way. You can check it out, and I'll have a link to that story as well in the description of this video. But now I think we need some good news. Good news. There we go. All right. A South Korean startup has developed an AI-based app called Pet Now that uses a dog's nose print to identify its owner and reunite lost dogs with their families. The app's algorithm has a 99% accuracy rate and is free to use. Pet owners register their dog's nose print by taking a picture with a smartphone, and the image is stored in PetNow's crowdsourced database. Anyone who finds a lost dog can take a picture of its nose and see if it matches with one on the app, providing contact information for the owner. The app is available in South Korea, Spain, and the US. Well, what a fun idea. You know, I know no one wants to lose their dog. And I did not know, did you, that dog noses are like fingerprints. They are that identifiable. Now, I guess there could be some concerns about privacy. I don't know. You know, you're giving your dog print and your contact information to a South Korean company. But what a great idea to have a database of all the dog prints, and so that you would be able to contact the owner. Now, there may be some privacy issues with this. I actually got, and I should have been more prepared today. I actually got a thing for my dog that has a scan code on it, a QR code for her collar. And it's a service so that if anyone finds my dog, you know, they'll see the code to scan. They can scan the code, and it's an app that you can connect to the owner. So that is something else. But this nose print idea is really interesting. Of course, it will only work if it's picked up by lots of people. So as of right now, it probably wouldn't work that well. But it does have potential, especially if they get involved with, dog adoption places. If all the kennels, all the city pounds and everything like that, before they, let you adopt a dog, if they were to take a nose print of that dog, would be a nice way to help people connect with pets. You know, what they do, I think, often is they chip your pet. They put a little chip in it so that you can take it to a vet, and the vet can scan your pet and be connected that way with a microchip that's in them somewhere. But we don't have those scanners at our house. It'd be a lot easier, you find a dog, if you can just like pull up your phone and snap a picture of, the dog's nose, and it lets you know, oh, the dog lives 3 blocks from here, and you can just walk it over there and take it home. So this has a lot of potential. It's exciting. I think it's good news. You think it's good news? Let me know in the comments about that. Anyway, yeah, stick around the after show. I'll be looking at your comments, addressing those. I know it was a short show today, folks. It is what it is. I hope you all have a beautiful day. I will see you in the after show. And if I don't see you there, I will see you mañana. Peace. Hey, everybody. What is up? So, yeah, I was working on the code this morning, to try to get the chat bigger in here. I'm still working on it. I'm still figuring it out. It's been such a long time since I've done some of those CSS cascading style sheets on web development. I can't, it's been like 20 years or something since I've played around with that. Hasn't changed. But so still working on that. I'll see if I can get that going well. But yeah, let's check it out. Tobias is here, says rumble on, let's put YouTube out of its misery. Duggo42 is here. Hello, what's up? Hey Tom, just found the live chat through the comments section. Thought the comments section was this. I'm new to Rumble. Okay. Something about Chicago that is beyond politics. It's straight corruption. That's what it looks like to me. It's just straight corruption. And it really saddens me. Like, I'm not mad about this. It really depresses me. But yeah, anyway, some dogs are real escape artists, and many animals like to explore the surrounding area and neighborhood out of curiosity. I think any way to make it easier to reunite with a lost pet is great. I agree. And, you know, I don't know if it's quality now, but the little dog tags, you know, that you could get engraved at the pet store, those don't seem to last very long, do they? You know, you get your phone number on it or something. They just wear out so quickly. I don't know if they're just cheaper today. They're just cheaper quality today than they were when I was a kid. Because I don't remember that growing up. I think that my dog as a kid, Ruffy, the attack poodle, right? She had a tag and it was engraved. And I don't remember it just getting worn out, but I got one for my dog and it lasted a couple months before it was just worn, so you couldn't even read it anymore. So I think anything that can make it easier to reunite your dog with the owner, I think is a good thing. We still need to look at some privacy issues there. You may not want your address on it. You know, some creep at a park could take a picture of your dog's nose, right? And then they might figure out where you live. You don't want that. But I'm sure it can be set up in a way that would be beneficial. Gonzo the Good, hit me up with a tip. I appreciate that more than you know. Gonzo the Good says, the nose print idea sounds really cool. I might do that for my dog. It is a cool thing. I might do that for my dog too. And I will look into finding the little tag and telling you about what I'm currently using with the QR code with my dog. But I forgot the name of the company. But I'll have that. I'll have that in a future show. So let's look at the YouTube chat. Okay, we've got, hey Tom, happy Wednesday from Lucid Moments of Reality. We got the fire and the coffee in the chat. Tiki masks, all that good stuff. Liked and shared. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you, Amanda. What did you think of Trump's speech last night, everybody? Did not watch the speech. I don't know. I kind of had a bit, you know, I watched the coverage of it when it happened. I watched what the networks were talking about beforehand, and I just had enough for the day. So I haven't watched what Trump said about that. So I may check that out. Fofo, a.k.a. Ignorance is Bliss. Yeah, it is bliss. However, you know, like, if I can just be real for a second, you got a pain in your stomach, something's not right, and you just don't go to the doctor, right? And you just don't go to the doctor. And you know you should, but, you know, you don't want to find out. And eventually when it gets so bad that you go there and then you find out you're in stage 4. Yeah. And then it's too late. Then it's too late. and you end up with cancer, and you end up passing away way too young. That's what happened to a friend of mine. His stomach hurt all the time. Kept telling him, go to the doctor. What are you doing? When he finally did, he had liver cancer and colon cancer, stage 4. It was too late. Then he only had a couple years at that point. And that's an extreme case, obviously. But the fear of finding out is a big deal. Now, it depends on what the subject is. Obviously, your health is a lot more important than finding out maybe that people don't like your haircut. Maybe you don't want to find out that people don't like your style, so you just don't ask. But some of them are more important than others. But if you can get beyond this and control it, because you are an emotionally intelligent person, you're going to have a better life. And that's what I wish for everyone that watches this show, especially everyone that hits the like button. But not only that, I wish that for everyone, really. Let's see. The new Chicago mayor. Getting scrolling here. New Chicago mayor is absentee. Haha. Chicago does at least have a very fun musical. That's true. A bit on the violent side, but interesting and accurate commentary on society. We need Portland the musical. Oh God, no. That would be too much. I don't know if it would be a comedy, because that is one way to look at it. I saw a retweet by Fiorella of the NPR tweet labeled that way. Her tweet itself was labeled as Russian State Media, as she works for RT. Irony. Yeah. How awesome is that? Fiorella, she was just a YouTuber here in the U.S., put on a really good show, developed a following, and got hired by RT because she didn't, push all of the U.S. state propaganda, and they liked what she did, and she's out there in Russia now. That's pretty awesome for her, so congrats on that. I like Brett Weinstein's I quit listening to NPR Win idea for a compilation video. Different people sharing when they quit listening to NPR could be quite persuasive. It's interesting. Okay, you say Brett Weinstein. There is a podcast I know that is done by Peter Boghossian. I think along the same lines about NPR. And I think it's All Things Reconsidered, I believe is the name of it. And what they do is they will go through and kind of fact check some NPR stories and show the propaganda, how NPR really is often propaganda, and just show how they misrepresent stories. And that's a very interesting podcast. I believe it's All Things Reconsidered, I think. But one of the hosts is Peter Boghossian. Yeah, I think it's really good. Hey, Tom, the new lighting looks good. You used to look kind of purple. I am still working on the lighting, and, this thing behind me kind of fell over. I'm still working on the set. I know I thought I would have it ready by Monday, and here it is Wednesday already. Everything takes longer than you think. However, one of the things that I have noticed, at least for me, I say I'm going to do something in public, and that will get me to do it more than if I just, put it on my whiteboard, design a new set, that didn't seem to work very well. So I told all of you that I was doing a new set, and then now I feel the public pressure to do it. So perhaps you can use that strategy for yourself if there's anything that you're trying to do. With the nose print thing works for cats. I don't know if it is for cats or only if it's for dogs. Perhaps, but like I say, I'll leave a link to the article in the description. Perhaps cat noses aren't as identifiable, because they're smaller. Perhaps, I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. Thumbs up, check. This channel goes viral. Congrats. I hope so. I hope we can do that. Hi, Tom. Hi, chat. Who is trying out live streaming next? Tobias, Natasha. This could be a community driven show of many shows. And Natasha replies, not me, Martin. I'm camera shy. So that is an idea, that, that's one of the great things. One of the things I appreciate about me doing these live shows this year is it kind of has built up a little bit of community in the chat. You all seem like such lovely, awesome people. But yes, I like the idea of more people being involved. And also, John did set up a Discord, a link in the description. Discord is kind of a less formal place to talk about the show. You can send me ideas there. You can send me good news stories as well. There's a little section, good news, that you can, if you come across a good news story, you can send it to me. Because I will tell you, by far, when I'm putting together the rundown of my show, coming up with topics. Now, stories, not so hard, because there's lots of negative stories out there. There's lots of regular stories out there. I did make the commitment to myself that I would only do stories that I was interested in. And so I don't do... If I don't care about a story, I'm not going to cover it on this show. And you can see the story somewhere else. I only choose stories that I find interesting. But finding good news stories is tough. It's a lot harder than you think. However, if you develop an eye for it, and like I am looking for positive stories every day, it does get easier to find things because you do find what you look for. And with FOFO, if you're afraid of finding out, that also is true. So it all comes down to you and what you put your focus on. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you all hitting me up with all this, all the comments, all the love in the comments. That's really cool. But yeah, that's all I got today. Y'all rule. I will see you tomorrow with the show. Possibly the chat will look a little bigger and you'll actually be able to read it on the screen and some other things. So I put that out to put more pressure on me to keep working on it, keep getting better, and I invite you to do the same. Anyway, y'all have a beautiful day. See you soon. Peace.